Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. Right now they've got discounts on skeeters, sun catchers, Godfrey pontoons, G3s, Hurricanes, you name it. Plus they've got a new line of boats that they're carrying down there, Crevalle boats. These are high-quality center console saltwater boats for bay and offshore fishing as well as rivers and lakes. They've always got something new down there, Crevalle boats. Get down and see them this week. Ask about that. There's no better place to buy a boat than Madisonville Marine. Highway 411 North in Madisonville. All right, take a look at these numbers. Fourth down fizzle. The Vols entered yesterday's game just 3 of 10 on fourth downs. That's a 30% success rate, which was 12th in the SEC going into the game. They failed on a 4th and 1 at their own 34 in the first half. In the second half, Tennessee failed on a 4th and 1 at their own 47. They allowed a quick touchdown and were outscored 17-0 after that decision. Tennessee failed again late in Alabama territory, but it was kind of decided for you at that point. Tennessee is now 3 of 13 on fourth downs. 23% is where they are. If you finish at 23%, that would be the lowest percentage in the SEC since 2019, which naturally was also Tennessee. Those numbers tell me you can't trust this offense, especially in short yardage. I trust my defense. We said that last week. Also last week, I said my pet peeve was the fact that the end of the game, instead of burning more clock and protecting your defense, you threw a pass into the end zone. You stopped the clock. That meant your defense would have to be on the field for an additional 40 seconds, let's say. If Josh Heupel is going to win with defense, and at this point, I think that's what he ought to do, he needs to play to his defense. That means if you've just given up a couple of quick scores, you got a chance with Jackson Ross, who's become a weapon since the Virginia game. You got a chance to punt Alabama into their own 10-yard line, 15-yard line. At the very worst, they're going 80 yards. Instead, you go out there with an offense that at that point was 3 of 11 on fourth down. And you say, yeah, we're going for it. I get the aggressive part. I've heard that. Everybody tells me the same thing. Man, got to be aggressive. I like to be aggressive. I get it. And if I know the odds, there are times I like to be aggressive. But if I'm sitting at the Bellagio and I'm sitting on 19, I'm not going to say hit me in hopes of getting the 2. I'm playing the odds. And to me, I think Tennessee should play the odds more. I don't know that Heupel, Jeremy Pruitt, for example, came here, hired pass-happy Ty Helton, hired pass-happy Jim Chaney, and then handcuffed them both because he's a defensive coach. He protects that defense. He thinks defensively. All right, offense is something we have to do until we get back on defense. And everything coached that way. I wonder if Heupel is going to be Pruitt in reverse. That even though his offense is not the strength of his team, he's saying, we're going to do it anyway because this is what I've always done. I don't think that's smart. My piece is said. You guys can all debate it. Tell me if you agree or disagree.
I'm going to agree with you because yesterday, as you and I were talking before the fourth down up near the 50, you said, don't do this. And I said, do it. Just don't do it like you did against Texas A&M the week before, we were both right.
Yeah.
I would have to get away from going for it on fourth down now. I mean, the numbers are just not in your favor. You got UConn on your schedule, but you got Kentucky pretty tough on defense, Georgia tough on defense, Missouri looks better. I'm going to do like you. Yes, I'm going to start playing the odds. If it's 4th and 3 inches and I'm in your territory, okay, I'm still going to go for it. But now, if I'm in my territory, nope, done. Forget it. Rest of the year.
Yeah, it's just situational.
Yeah, situational.
Yeah,
it's situational big time. But as a quarterback,
always go.
Hey, man, if you feel like you got something up your sleeve and you got long sleeves on, you got to let it ride. And,
but have something up your sleeve instead of what didn't work the week before. That's where I'm coming back to.
The handoff up the middle to my small back is not my
Hey, the results are the results. But I'm an aggressive thinking guy when it comes to opportunity to play.
So in other words, every day, if it's 4th and 20, and there's a minute to go in the game, you're still saying, let's go, aggressive.
No, not 4th and 20.
So it's situational.
Situational. Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely situational.
Yeah, and that's why I'm still a little bit torn because on the second fourth down attempt yesterday, if Josh Heupel says to me, I'm going to hand the ball to Joe Milton under center, and we're going to push forward for a yard, and he's going to get it because he's 250 plus pounds, I'd say go for it. If he said, I'm going to hand the ball to Dylan Sampson in a crowd and see if he can get it for me, I'd say punt that ball away.
All right.
So, part of it is what is your plan here? So at this point, what they've tried has become a weakness.
Yeah.
So don't be aggressive toward your weakness. Be aggressive toward your strength, which is the defense. If they come up with a more successful plan for these fourth down attempts, then I'd be all for it. But to this point, we haven't seen that.
Yeah, you were 3 of 10 coming into that game, and you'd played the easiest part of your schedule, and you were 3 and 10 coming into that game.
Yeah.
Anyway, by that point in the game, it was obvious Alabama was the better team. We knew they had more talent. Alabama was the better team. Their defense was certainly better than your offense. I just wouldn't have trusted.
Well, and here's the reason
I don't trust that offense.
you got to
at this
come
point.
up with something else too, because your offensive line's weakness is pushing people back, getting under them and pushing them back. And that in that formation, in that situation, that's what you've got to do. So you did, as you said, you played to your weakness.
That's a Mike Stoll point that, and he's off there, so I'm going to steal it. But that's one that he always said, look, this team can run when you spread. You take the spread out, you bring everybody in. This isn't the kind of line that's going to push people around.
Yeah, and we like and mentioned earlier again, we don't have Princeton Fant, but we got to find another Princeton Fant. Yeah. I mean, he was found. Princeton was found to do that job. He came as a wide receiver. We forget about that. Yeah. So, we got to look through some of the talent that we do have inside the stable and maybe figure another guy that can mimic a Princeton Fant.
All right, very good. When we come back, true or false, road games are kryptonite for Josh Heupel's offense. That's next from the Back of the Sports Source.